I'm standing in the doorway of my office, staring at a 24-year-old girl sitting in my chair, wearing my client portfolios like trophies across my desk. My breast pump bag is still hanging on the back of the door from 3 months ago, a reminder of the career I paused to bring my daughter into this world. Madison Pierce, the boss's daughter, looks up from her phone and smiles at me like I'm the cleaning lady who walked into the wrong room. "Oh, you must be Diana," she says, not even bothering to stand. "Hope you don't mind the reassignment, but clearly you're not career-focused anymore. Motherhood and all that." Behind me, I can hear HR Director Patricia clearing her throat nervously, clutching a folder that I know contains my new job description, if you can even call it that. My hands are shaking. My postpartum body is still recovering, and I have exactly 10 seconds to decide if I'm going to fight or walk away. You won't believe what I chose to do. Before we continue, please subscribe to the channel and let me know where you're listening from in the comments. My name is Diana Walsh. I am 34 years old, and until 12 weeks ago, I was a senior account executive at Sterling & Associates. I had spent 8 years building relationships with the biggest corporate clients in our region, $80 million in contracts that I personally brought in and managed. I was good at my job. No, I was exceptional at it. And then I had my daughter Lily, took my legally protected maternity leave, and apparently, that was all it took for my boss to decide I was disposable. That Monday morning when I walked back into the office, exhausted but excited to return to work, I had no idea my entire career was about to be ripped away from me. Patricia intercepted me before I could even reach my office door. "Diana, welcome back," she said, and I could hear the discomfort in her voice. "There have been some organizational changes while you were away." She handed me a folder. New job title, Junior Account Support Specialist, reporting to Madison Pierce, 40% pay cut. All my major accounts, the ones I had spent years cultivating, reassigned. I looked at Patricia, waiting for the punchline. "This is a joke, right?" She would not meet my eyes. "The company felt these high-stakes accounts needed consistent attention, you understand, with your new responsibilities at home." My new responsibilities, like becoming a mother, somehow erased 8 years of proven results. I pushed past her and walked into my office anyway, and that is when I saw Madison, Robert Pierce's daughter, fresh out of business school with 0 real-world experience, sitting in my chair like she had earned it. "This is my office," I said, my voice tight. Madison barely looked up from her phone. "Was your office. Dad felt I was ready to take on more responsibility, and your accounts were the perfect opportunity." She finally stood, but only to grab her designer bag. "Don't worry, I'll make sure to mention you helped with the transition. You know, for your resume." I wanted to scream. I wanted to flip that desk, but I had a 3-month-old at home and a mortgage to pay, so I swallowed every ounce of rage and walked to my new desk, a cubicle in the open floor plan next to the copy machine. The breaking point came 3 hours later during the team meeting. Madison presented strategy for my former accounts, and it was obvious she had just copied old reports without understanding anything. She introduced me to the team as someone who would help with administrative tasks and made pointed comments about work-life balance and how some people's priorities shift. After the meeting, I tried to help. I really did. "Madison, these clients have specific needs. Mr. Hartley at Hartley Industries, for example." She cut me off with a condescending smile. "I went to Wharton. I think I can handle a few corporate relationships. Why don't you focus on the filing I left on your desk?" I found a stack of expense reports and coffee orders waiting for me. 8 years of expertise reduced to filing and coffee runs. That afternoon, I requested a meeting with Robert Pierce. I had known him for 8 years. I thought we had mutual respect. I was wrong. "Robert, I understand Madison is learning, but these accounts are delicate. Hartley Industries alone is worth $50 million. They trust me personally. Can we discuss a transition plan where I stay involved?" He leaned back in his chair, annoyed that I was even there. "Diana, I'm going to be frank. You're a mother now. Your focus has shifted, and that's natural. Madison is hungry, ambitious, and frankly, she has my full confidence. I need you to stop throwing tantrums and respect my daughter's decisions. She's your supervisor now. If you can't accept your new role, perhaps Sterling isn't the right fit for you anymore. Stop throwing tantrums. Those words echoed in my head as I walked out of his office. I had given this company 8 years of my life, brought in millions in revenue, and he dismissed my concerns as tantrums because I had the audacity to become a mother. I sat at my cubicle, staring at the coffee orders Madison left, and something inside me shifted. I was not going to beg for respect. I was not going to fight a rigged system. I was going to walk away and take everything I built with me. I opened my laptop and began downloading every client file I legally had access to, my notes, relationship histories, everything I had created. Then I typed out a resignation email. Short, professional, final. Effective immediately, I am resigning from Sterling and Associates. Thank you for the opportunities over the past 8 years. I cleaned out my cubicle in complete silence. Madison watched from my old office, smirking like she had won. My former colleague James approached, his face filled with concern. "Diana, what are you doing?" I looked at him and smiled for the first time that day. Something I should have done the moment I walked in this morning. I'm choosing myself. I walked out at 4:47 p.m., carrying a small box of personal items. Patricia rushed after me, panic in her voice. "Diana, wait. Let's talk about this." I kept walking. I was done talking. That night, after I put Lily to bed, I sat down at my laptop and did something they would never see coming. I reached out to every major client I had ever worked with, letting them know I was transitioning to independent consulting. Professional, courteous, strategic. Then I registered my business, Walsh Consulting Group. They thought they could replace me with an entitled 24-year-old. They were about to learn exactly how wrong they were. 8 weeks after I walked out of Sterling and Associates, I was sitting in a coffee shop across from Thomas Hartley, the CEO of Hartley Industries, my former $50 million account. He slid a contract across the table with a number that made my breath catch: $450,000 annually, plus bonuses. "I got 3 calls from Robert Pierce yesterday," Thomas said, shaking his head. He sounded desperate. "You know why I wanted to work with you 4 years ago? Because you were the only person who actually listened. You did not just try to sell me services. You understood my business." He tapped the contract. "Independent consulting. I want you managing all our corporate partnerships, not just what Sterling used to handle. And Diana? Screw Sterling. Their contract expires in 6 days and I have no intention of renewing." I signed that contract right there, and it was triple what Sterling had been paying me. But Thomas was just the beginning. 2 weeks later, Karen Rodriguez from Global Tech Solutions called me. $22 million account. "Diana, Madison Pierce has given me wrong information 4 times. I'm tired of correcting her. I want to work with you directly." Then came Morrison and Associates. $15 million. They followed me without hesitation. $87 million in contracts, gone from Sterling in less than 2 months. Meanwhile, Robert Pierce was having a meltdown. I heard through industry contacts that he called an emergency board meeting. Madison had been conveniently sick since the Hartley situation exploded. The CFO apparently asked the question everyone was thinking: why did we let Diana go in the first place? Robert tried to save face, but the damage was done. He left me 12 voicemails begging me to come back, to fix things, to save his company. I listened to exactly none of them. Then he tried to get clever. A certified letter arrived from Sterling's legal team threatening to sue me for stealing clients and violating my non-compete. I read it, smiled, and called my attorney. "Their non-compete is worthless," she told me. "You were demoted, pay cut, hostile work environment. That's constructive discharge. Any judge would laugh this out of court. Want me to countersue for discrimination?" "Draw up the response," I said. "Make it clear what will happen if they proceed." Sterling dropped the lawsuit within 48 hours. 3 months after I left, Robert requested a meeting. He looked like he had aged 10 years. "Diana, please, name your price. Come back as VP. You can supervise Madison." I actually laughed. Supervise the woman who took my job and mocked me for being a mother? The woman you defended when she called my concerns tantrums? The board is talking about replacing me, he said, his voice breaking. My legacy. Should have thought about that before you treated my career like it was disposable the second I became a mom. I stood to leave, and he played his final card. If not for me, then for the people who still work there. Good people who will lose their jobs. I paused, and he thought he had me. You are right, I said. There are good people at Sterling, which is why I have already offered jobs to James and 3 others. They start with me next month. The color drained from his face. A week later, Thomas Hartley called with another offer. Chief Partnership Officer at Hartley Industries, $280,000 base salary, equity, full benefits, your own team. You have proven you can do this independently. Imagine what you could do with real resources behind you. I looked at my daughter sleeping peacefully in her crib through the baby monitor. This was everything I had fought for. Respect, compensation that reflected my value, a position where being a mother was not held against me. But before I could accept, I received one more letter. This one from Sterling's board of directors, offering me the CEO position, Robert's job. They wanted me to come back and run the company that had tried to destroy me. The irony was almost beautiful. I had 3 offers sitting in front of me: continue consulting independently with complete freedom, become Chief Partnership Officer at Hartley Industries with stability and resources, or return to Sterling & Associates as CEO and become Robert Pierce's boss. 8 weeks ago, that third option would have felt like the ultimate victory. Getting to tell Robert Pierce that I was now in charge? That would have been sweet revenge. But sitting there with my daughter Lily in my arms, I realized something important. I did not need his company to validate my worth. I already knew what I was capable of. I accepted the position at Hartley Industries. Stability for my daughter, resources to build something meaningful, and most importantly, respect. I turned down Sterling's CEO offer with a simple email. I appreciate the opportunity, but I have found a position that better aligns with my values. 6 months later, I was the keynote speaker at an industry conference. My topic: building authentic client relationships in a transactional world. I told my story without naming Sterling, but everyone in that room knew exactly what I was talking about. After my speech, young professional women approached me with tears in their eyes. One told me she had just returned from maternity leave and was fighting to keep her position. Your story gives me hope, she said. I looked her in the eyes. Do not just hope. Know your worth, document everything, and never let anyone make you choose between motherhood and ambition. You can have both. I noticed Robert in the back of the room. He looked broken, out of place. After the crowd cleared, he approached me. That was powerful, he said quietly. Thank you. Awkward silence hung between us. I owe you an apology, a real one. I was wrong about everything. Yes, you were. I am consulting now, he continued. Small businesses, trying to help others avoid my mistakes. I studied his face and saw genuine remorse. I hope you succeed, Robert. Not for me, for the next woman who walks into your office after having a baby. We shook hands, and I walked away. It was not quite forgiveness, but it was closure. That evening, I came home to find Lily taking her first wobbly steps. I scooped her up, overwhelmed with emotion. Guess what, baby girl? Mommy got to tell her story today. And you know what I learned? Success is not about revenge. It is not about proving people wrong. It is about knowing your value and refusing to accept anything less. My phone buzzed. Email from Thomas. 2 more companies want to join our partnership division. They specifically asked for you. I smiled and typed back. Absolutely. 1 year later, I received Executive of the Year at an industry gala. In my acceptance speech, I dedicated it to every woman who has been told she has to choose between her career and her family. The audience was filled with professional women, many wiping tears from their eyes. Sterling & Associates is no longer a major player in the industry. Madison works entry level at a small firm, finally learning what it means to earn your place. Robert lost his legacy. And me? I built something far more valuable than revenge. I built a life where being a mother made me stronger, not weaker. Where my value was never questioned. Where I did not just survive, I thrived. They pushed me aside because I became a mother. They thought I would be too tired, too distracted, too unfocused to fight back. They were wrong. I did not just fight back. I won. And I did it while rocking my daughter to sleep, pumping between meetings and proving that motherhood does not make you weak. It makes you unstoppable. Thanks for listening to the end. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories about standing up for yourself and never letting anyone dim your light.